The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Picture Rock Fire District, Arizona, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 38624. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation. Starting first in the front bumper area of the cutout, you'll find 2 open-ended tow hooks on the passenger and driver side. Located directly in the center, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker. Moving up onto the cab area on the outer edge, you'll find a marker turn indicator, low and high beam headlight cluster. Just inside into the grille area, 2 forward-facing emergency warning lights. As we move up to the A-pillar of the door is where you'll find your flat and convex mirror. There are 2 windshield wipers across the one-piece windshield. Just above that, your brow lights housing 5 identification clearance lights. Located in the very roofline area is where you'll find your emergency warning light bar. We'll take a look at some close-ups of the items we just talked about, first with the open-ended tow hooks, then to the electronic siren and PA speaker. Moving now to the lights within the grille area, and then just a general view here of the entire grille. Moving now to the outer edge of the headlight cluster, housing low and high beam headlights and a marker turn indicator on the outside edge. Also a side-facing emergency warning light, part of the lower emergency warning zone. As we move to the roofline, identification clearance lights and your emergency warning light bar. Located in the front section of the hood is the handle for tilting the hood after you've released the hood release to the rear of the fender area. On the top of the fender, you'll find your marker turn indicator. Just in the cutout section here is where you'll find the air inlet. This is on the driver's side. And then to the rear of the fender is where you'll find your release for gaining access into the engine space. Let's take a look at the close-up of the mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. Convex will be the lower mirror at the bottom of the bracket. As we move to the tire, front axle, Michelin tires XZE. And then we'll move down to the door handle, easily accessible with a gloved hand. It is also keyed. Right next to that is where you'll find the grab handle for remaining 3 points of entry into the cab area. And now we'll start into the lower section where the fuel tank is located. Let's start first with the fill location for the ultra low sulfur diesel, which is directly with the silver cap. As we move toward the rear of the apparatus within the door space step area, you'll find the fill location for the DEF tank. It is the blue cap. Let's move into the cab space first, starting with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, upper and lower warning placards. Grab handle in the lower section, door release in the upper section. As we move to the very top section of the door jamb, you'll find your electric door locks, electric window control, and mirror control. Let's move to the seat area. At the base of the seat, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, VIN number, all of the fluid capacities for each component, and also fluid capacity and fluid type. Let's move now to the dash area, where you'll start with a keyed ignition in the lower left-hand corner. Also, warning placard information here regarding the height of the vehicle, 9 feet 5 inches, length of the vehicle, 29 feet 4 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating, 54,600 pounds, along with your identification number 38624 TR01. On the steering column, you'll find additional controls located on each outer edge. As we move to the dash area, we'll start at the very front section left. This is your tachometer, and then to the right, you'll find your speedometer. You'll also find fuel, rear air, front air, oil pressure. In the center section, in the display, you'll find additional information. Let's move just to the right of the dash area. We'll identify a few items within this area.
First, starting with the yellow diamond, pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. These are your rear spring brakes. Also, we have tally light information and warning light information on each side of the dash cluster. Let's start with the red switch in the upper switch panel. First, starting with your four-way flashers, hazard lights. Moving to the right, the dome light, footwell light, and ATC traction control. Moving down from that, you'll find regen, interaxial diff lock. Moving further down, some additional switches for the PTO pump, high idle, and alarm reset. Once again, tally lights are located on the outer edge of the panel. As we move to the very far right side, you'll find a display screen for additional engine information. Down in the lower section, the Pierce seatbelt information, red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted, green they're in the seat and belted. Also, red flashing light indicating do not move your apparatus. You may have a compartment or door open. At the very top of the dash, you'll find your monitor for your backup camera system. Just below that, you'll find climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. Down in the lower section for your maintenance team, you'll find the VMUX and vehicle data recording information and also an audible speaker. As we look overhead of the driver's seat, you'll find additional warning lights. Starting on the left, you'll find your emergency, and then lower upper zone, and then also scene lights are located within this area. Further to the right, scene light, left dump, right dump. Those are two protected switches. Further to the right, you'll find your siren control and PA speaker system. Let's go ahead and move now to the exterior. We'll start at the very top section of the pump panel area with the two cross lays located within this area. First, cross lay 1 and cross lay number 2. Both of these are foam capable. As we move to the dash area here on the pump panel in the upper section, you'll find your pump discharge pressure. Also find pump intake. These are the two master gauges located on the top section of the pump panel. As we move to the very top, we have some scene lights at the very top section switch panel. And then also the blue module is your water tank level indicator. Just below that are the vacuum and pressure test gauge ports. These are currently plugged and are utilized for testing purposes. Up to the very top, this is your pump boss, which is your pressure throttle governor. Just below that, you'll find a round black speaker. The outer edge of that bezel does rotate so you can increase or decrease sound. Also, if you've engaged your pump properly from inside the cab, you'll find this light illuminating green, OK to pump. In the upper red module, this is your water level gauge indicator for water tank level. And then also Husky control module. This is your Husky 3 foam system. There are instructions on its placard for its operation. We do have some discharges located here. They are color coded and labeled, red indicating on the back of the placard that it is foam capable. As we move just to the right of this location, you'll find a warning placard indicating entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming from aloft, there's the possibility of entanglement. Also, tank fill and recirculating line, fire pump primer instructions here for at least 1,000 RPMs for best practices while drafting. As we move to the lower left, you'll find your auto eject 20 amp. This is an shoreline inlet. Just below that, an additional placard here regarding your Watrous pump with a capacity of 1,250 GPM. Also down in the lower left, you'll find the 2.5-inch locally controlled auxiliary inlet, 2.5-inch in size. Warning placard here regarding foam failure. Do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. Main pump drain located in the lower section, and also when plugged into Shoreline Power, your battery maintenance system will show displaying the battery status. As we move into the pan door, there are instructions on the back of the pan door for this operation of the yellow handle inside. This is for your foam lever for either draft or operations position. Also, draft foam and tank inlet are located here with the red lever. Across the very bottom, all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. And then just under the running board is where you'll find the discharge drains for your foam system. Let's go ahead and move to the vertical side sheet where you'll find additional information here. This is information regarding your foam system and also instructions. Below that, you'll find the minimum operation maintenance schedule. Let's go ahead and take a look at a close-up of the Husky 3 foam specifications and also foam system instructions. Just below this is the minimum operation maintenance schedule for test pressures at 150, 200, and 250 psi. Associated GPM and RPMs are on this placard, along with, while in pump mode, a governed speed of 2350. Let's take a look at the body section next, starting just in front of the tandem axle, where you'll find your folding wheel chock storage location. Also, just above that, you'll find a marker turn indicator. In between the two rear wheels, you'll find a pan door. This is for SCBA bottle storage location. And then to the rear of the axle, you'll find a lower zone emergency warning light. All the way to the very rear, this is going to be the location for your dump valve on the left side. And then also we have two scene lights located in the upper section. And at the very rear of the apparatus, we have an emergency warning light. That's part of the upper emergency warning light. We'll go ahead and take a look at some close-ups of the things we just talked about. First, starting with that side-facing scene light. And let's go ahead and take a look inside the roll-up compartment doors, where you'll find LED lighting on each side, adjustable shelving, and then to the rear compartment, an adjustable shelf. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rear compartment top section, where you'll find that side-facing scene light, emergency warning light, and then let's move down into the lower compartments, where you'll find your battery charger located within this compartment. When the vehicle is plugged into Shoreline Power, this auto charge will operate, maintaining batteries. Close up here of the wheel chock storage location, and then just up from this, marker turn indicator light. Then we'll go ahead and take a look at the pan door storage location directly between the two tandem axles. Lift and turn latch will gain access into this space with retaining straps for your SCBA bottles. To the rear of the axle, emergency warning light. Let's move to the rear of the apparatus on the side, where you'll find the tank dump located on the driver's side. There's a close-up with the door in the open position and the valve just inside. To the rear of the axle tires is where you'll find mud flaps. And then let's move around to the rear of the apparatus. We'll identify a few things in the upper section. On the outer edge top section, you'll find emergency warning lights. Just inside that location, you'll find two rear-facing scene lights. Located directly in the center is the backup camera with a protected shield. And then as we move down to the lower left and right side, you'll find the cluster housing and emergency warning light, brake, turn, and reverse. We'll go ahead and take a look at some close-ups, first starting with the emergency warning light on the passenger and driver's side rear. Moving toward the center, rear-facing scene lights, and then located directly in the center is your backup camera. Let's go ahead and move down onto the rear body section, where you'll find a few warning placards. We'll identify those next, starting with a warning, fall hazard, never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. Also, warning regarding fall injury, when climbing on or off the vehicle, always face the vehicle. And then also a warning regarding entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming from aloft, there's a possibility of entanglement. As we move to the left and right side, you'll find a storage location. Lift and turn latch will gain you access into this space for your rigid drafting tubes. As we move down to the light cluster, we'll start at the top with the emergency warning light, brake, turn, and reverse light. We do have a cupped switch located in the back. One is the driver's side dump valve and also hose bed lights. And then down in the lower section, you'll find the rear scene lights. License plate location, and then just a general view here to the right side of this location. And then here to the rear dump. And then also a direct tank fill. 2.5-inch locally controlled here at the ball valve female inlet. We do have a passenger side dump valve switch located on the passenger side, and then in the lower right hand corner, the emergency brake, turn, and backup lights. Let's move around to the side of the apparatus. For the most part, we have a similar configuration. Let's start at the very top section with emergency warning light and side-facing scene light. As we move to the rear of the axle, you'll find the right side dump, chute, and then also now an exposed image here with that in the open position. Just to the right of this location is an emergency warning light, side-facing. This is just to the rear of the axle. And then also at the rear wheel, you'll find mud flaps. As we move forward of the rear axle, you'll find tandem axles, Michelin tires, Alcoa wheels, and in between the two axles where you'll find additional SCBA bottle storage with retaining straps. I would like to point out this warning placard indicating extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen operations. Please be cautious where you choose to park your vehicle. As we move forward to this location to the very top, side-facing scene light. And then down in the lower section, same configuration as far as the lower compartments in this space. Let's move now to the pump panel area. We'll start at the very top where the crosslay is located. Once again, two crosslays, crosslay 1 and crosslay 2. Would like to point out a warning placard indicating entanglement hazard. Because of those two crosslays and the hose with those, there's the possibility of entanglement. As we move down, you'll find a pan door for gaining access or visual inspection into the pump panel area. As we move down, you'll find your large diameter passenger side discharge. Also a warning placard indicating pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening. To the lower left, we have a 2.5-inch passenger side discharge, and then also your large diameter pump inlet. We also have a pan door located in the lower section. This is the location inside this door behind the pump panel is where you'll find your relief valve setting. And then also just to the right, an additional warning placard here. Only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that is only after you've received proper training. In the lower section below the warning placard here, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. And then let's go ahead and move forward of the pump panel into the cab section. Same configuration layout as we have on the other side, starting at the very top with the mirror flat at the top section, convexed in the lower section. As we move into the door itself, you'll find easily accessible with a gloved hand, and then also right next to that, you'll find a grab handle for gaining entry and exit in and out of the cab. Also, as we move to the door panel, safety and warning placard information on the door panel itself. At the top, you have electric window control and automatic door locks. As we move inside to the cab, there is a grab handle on the A pillar. And then as we move to the seat itself, this is a fixed mounted seat with a grab handle near the B pillar. As we move inside, just under the door compartment here is where you'll find additional steps for illuminating those steps for gaining entrance out of the cab. Down in the lower section, you'll find your perimeter lighting, and now let's move to the forward section of the cab where you'll find the back section of the release for your hood. There's one on the passenger and one on the driver's side. At the very top of the fender is your marker turn indicator light. As we move forward, Alcoa wheel and a Michelin tire. And then just forward of this location to the emergency warning light side view, part of the lower emergency warning zone. And then also headlight structure housing a marker turn indicator, low beam and high beam headlights. Congratulations, Picture Rock Fire District, Arizona, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 38624. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.